Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the anime ID Zero on Netflix. And I would not recommend watching this. It's not very good. It's the problems stem from a lot of things. The story really sucks. And the animation is on CGI and has moments of kind of like good stuff, mainly with like the eye machines for like some kind of the fight sequences, which kind of rarely happen. But there's a lot of points where it looks kind of weird and just kind of like, what? And the dialogue is just like, oh god. At one point, a military person's talking about how their eye machine is more superior than someone else's. It's like, you should just say that it's superior. And it's just like, okay. So, it starts off and we're introduced to Maya Makuri, who is this student who is a cosmic geologist trying to help people find Oracult, which is what is used to do interstellar transport and pretty much get through planets and get to planets, all that kind of stuff. And she's pretty much narked out by her professor because they were illegally trying to do some stuff, while this other group comes in who's also trying to do the same thing, but they kind of rescue her because it kind of seemed like they were out to like get her to help them trying to get this other bigger thing of Oracult. And it's like, okay. She's like always lamenting the fact that she is pretty much brought up as like a felon for like selling this kind of information, and that's about it. There's really not much to her character or any other character. So they're pretty much just hopping around trying to find Oracult when they find this one giant one that's got large, like the biggest kind of Oracult storms. They go in and they get it, and a girl pops out of it. It's like, okay. And we find out that it has a connection to Edo, which is where you get the ID Zero. And it's like, she's connected to my past somehow and all that. And how these eye machines work is they use Oracult to transfer consciousness into the machine so that we can more effectively use them. And if you're out of it too long, or out of contact of your body for too long, you get trapped in there, which happened to pretty much everybody on the crew. Ever transfers, which is a felony too. It's like, okay. So of course, we start getting into it, and we see this one shadowy figure and this other shadowy figure, and they're trying to do something. It's never really made clear, even though they're trying to, like, figure out what's going on, but it's pretty much wrapped into this whole thing with Io, who, you hear the name Kane, Arasagawa all the time. You're like, oh, I wonder who that could be, this person who has lost their memories and is trapped in an eye machine with zero identification. Yes, it's Ito. Yes, it's that obvious. Yes, it goes this way. So Kane was a dick. Didn't really care about people and was trying to figure out how to control this Rajiv thing, which goes after Oracult, which would destroy pretty much 90% of the human population and completely destroy interstellar transfer. So, of course, when trying to research that kind of stuff and all of that, he was trying to help his colleague with her daughter, Alice, who is the little girl body that popped up. Notice I say body because it's actually the mother, Jennifer, because later on we find out other things that happened, that Kane they were going to transfer the little girl's consciousness in an eye machine to save her, but instead Kane put her in the Oracult to try and make an Aurelian to control Rajiv. And it's like, okay, alright. We find out that Adams has taken over Kane Arasagawa's body, well, bodies, because he's making clones and everything. And has been controlling this corporation and getting the funding of other people to essentially try and make people immortal. And it's like, okay, but what's your whole thing with the Rajiv thing? So of course they get thrown out into like outside space, and that's where the crew encounter Rajiv, and it's trying to go after Alice's body, who you find out is actually Jennifer, even though she doesn't speak that much. And it's just like, okay. And thing is, Adams tries to bring it to Earth to try and like destroy it by making Aurelian clones of himself and shooting it at him, at the Rajiv thing to stop it. But Ito, after he gets all of his memories back when Adams does his I am villain monologue, kind of thing, and he's like, okay, you can't destroy it, you gotta come to an understanding with it. What? So, of course, they get Jennifer and Alice's body, and they like pretty much throw themselves and mind trance into the Rajiv Oracle thingy to try and get it to an understanding that we need this stuff to survive and we're not trying to do anything bad. And it's like, okay, fine. So Adams and Jennifer and Alice are in there and they throw out Ito because he's chosen to be Ito and not be Dick Kane. And it's like, okay. And that's about it. Earth is saved. They're pretty much kind of pardoned and they just keep mining shit at the end of it. Nobody changes, really. Nobody except Ito learns anything. There's the Rick dude who's like, okay, kind of gets together with the Amon's a military person who kind of gets trapped with them, but it's like really just not a very good story. It's like, okay, this is obvious. These characters are boring. The only ones that are kind of not boring are Ito, who gets kind of this boring backstory to a degree, but uses to kind of become a little interesting. I say a little because it's not very much. And then Carla, who pretty much chooses to betray the crew at one point to get her body back. I'm like, okay, that's the only one that I can actually truly understand. But then she like comes back to him and still retains her body. It's like, okay. I watched it and I'm like, oh, a new thing on Netflix that I can watch. Okay. And then I'm like, 12 episodes, I'm like, don't watch it. There's not really that many good battles. They're mainly fighting rocks. You don't get, like, real eye machine fights until, like a full-on fight, whereas the other ones is usually just trying to dodge stuff or shoot stuff. And even then, it's not really exciting. It's just kind of bland CGI. And there's better stuff to watch, so I would definitely not recommend watching this. If you're into character development at all, don't. These are the thinnest characters you can find with the laid out plot points that you can find, and it's like, oh god. And the animation, sometimes I can count on about like one hand the times it's like, oh, that's pretty okay. That's alright. Other times it's just like stiff ass movements and just like really weird looking stuff. It's like, God, if it had been maybe done similar in the vein of like Van Dread where it was 2D and 3D, it might have not as been as weird, but again, the story is really bad, so that still would have saved it. So I would recommend not watching this unless you have nothing and you just have to waste time. And even then, go find, no, not even if you have to waste time, go find something else. Stare at the ceiling. Don't. There's better uses of your time. I beg you, just find something else. And I usually don't like saying stuff about that, but I'm like, I gain nothing from watching this show. I mean, like, oh, the power of friendship kind of stuff, like, kind of, any kind of lesson or anything. It's just a mess of a story with characters you don't care about, with action that's not really that good, with animation that's just, like, barely passable, in my opinion. So, I would not recommend this at all. So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.